Fala galera, beleza? Como vocês estão hoje? Tudo bem? Tudo tranquilo? Começando aqui nossa live. So, hey everyone, how are you guys today? Good morning. How are you guys today? Because today we're going to learn how to use will and would in Portuguese. It could be confusing if you haven't studied Portuguese yet. And also the pronunciation is very similar. So today we're going to see exactly how we can use will and would in Portuguese. And besides that, I'll be sharing my screen with you like this, so you'll be able to follow step by step how to use will, would in Portuguese. I would recommend you, if you're watching this on Instagram, you can go to YouTube to watch this in a bigger screen. However, you can also watch here on Instagram if you want. But on YouTube, you have a bigger screen. But hey guys on Instagram, hey Irish, hey Maddie, hey everyone, how are you guys today? How are you guys on this Wednesday? What you're going to see and learn today, it's clear probably that you're going to see how to use will and would in Portuguese. But besides that, when you can use that. Let me give you two sentences that you'll be able to create in the end of this class. What you're going to be able to say at the end of this class. You'll be able to say, for example, I will travel next week. And also, I'm going to travel next week. These two tenses are exactly the same in Portuguese. You're going to see that in a second. And would, I would travel, but I don't have time. I would buy a new car, but I don't have time. You're also going to see exactly how to do that. If you have any question, you can either leave in the questions as a comment on Instagram or on YouTube. I'm trying to check everywhere. How are you guys? And if you guys have any questions. And we are starting now. Let's start. So let me share my screen and hopefully you guys can see it and everything is working the way that I want. So here we have my screen and here we have a few verbs at the top, right? Let me go right there. And the first thing that I need to ask you is how would you say it, these three verbs in English? What is the meaning of amar, comer, assistir in English? What is the meaning of that? The first one, amar. What is this in English? What is the meaning of this verb? Comer and assistir. Any idea? Let me help you in case you don't know it. If you don't know the meaning of these three verbs, they're very basic. You're just starting to learn. That's fine. But amar is to love. Comer, to eat. And assistir, to watch. So basically, what you're going to create here, sentences saying, I will watch, I would eat, I will love, I would love. All of this you'll be able to create in a second, right? Hi, Bruno, loving the professional background. Great. Thank you, Hannah. How are you? To love, to eat, to watch, Charles. 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 By the way, your name in Portuguese would be Charles. Hannah e Charles. That's how a Brazilian will pronounce your name, guys. So, the first thing that we need to understand here, guys, is that will and going to is exactly the same in Portuguese. So if you think I'm going to, when you try to translate I am going to eat, this would sound very weird in Portuguese. So I'm going to and will is exactly the same in Brazilian Portuguese. And would, I think you will have less issues with the conjugation of would. It's more the pronunciation. Let's start. Let's start learning. So I believe that you already know how to say it. I, you, we, they in Portuguese. In case you don't know it, eu, it's I, you, he, she, we, you plural, and they, masculine and feminine. Sounds good? In case you haven't studied Portuguese yet, you already have these pronouns. Let's start. So, if I want to say I will love, I'm going to love, how would you say that in Portuguese? I'm waiting. If you live here in the chat on YouTube or on Instagram, I'm looking at both screen right now. And I cannot see any answer yet. But how would you say it? I will love, I'm going to love. Any idea? I'll give you guys 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8. Let me help you with the first one. In case you guys don't know the answer, that's fine. That's why you guys are here to learn. So, I will love, I'm going to love. The best way to say this in Portuguese, this is not the only way, but this is the best way. So we have two answers. As idea, God, I don't know how to pronounce this name. And Ashley, Amarie, eu vou amo, and that's the correct answer. Vou amar, eu vou amar. That's it, James. That's it. That's the answer. Eu, oh, but I have eu vou amar. So, vou is the key word here. You can think vou as will, and then use the verb in the infinitive form. Eu vou amar. Diane, eu amarei. That's also correct. And you're going to see that as well, that conjugation. But this one that you're seeing right now on the screen is more common. All the time you're going to hear people say that. Eu vou amar. So vou will work as will in this sentence and also going to. And then the verb that you're going to use will be infinitive form. So you don't have to conjugate the second verb. And this will always happen in Portuguese. When you have two verbs, you only need to conjugate the first one. So, eu vou amar, I will love, I'm going to love. What if I want to say it, I will eat, I'm going to eat? You already know that I will, I'm going to would be eu vou. Then the verb, I don't need to conjugate at all, right? So if I don't have to conjugate, the verb would just be comer, right? Eu vou comer. I will eat. I'm going to eat. Easy as this. Usually, you guys will not have problems using the future in Portuguese. Most of the time, you will not have trouble or issues with this conjugation. And the last one, I will watch. I'm going to watch. Eu assistirei. We need more space here. Eu assistirei. Okay, let me just this right here. Okay, okay, okay. We need more space. So, what you need to remember, eu vou. Vou is we work as will here to use future. That's it. That's it. Eu vou comer. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for your comments. That's it. That's it. That's it. And você, ele, ela, will here will be a little bit different. Here it will be vai. Vai. And the rest will be exactly the same. So you will, he will, she will, ela vai, or she's going to, he's going to, you're going to, ela vai amar. Oh, sorry guys, sorry, you're right. Eu vou assistir. I don't need to conjugate the verb. Eu vou amar, comer, assistir. Ela vai amar, comer, assistir. Você vai assistir um filme. Você vai comer pizza. Você vai comer arroz. E você vai amar o Brasil. Sounds good? So far we have I, you, he, and she, and how we can use the future. We have one very interesting question on YouTube. Charles is asking, so would the phrase I'm going to do it would be eu vou fazê-lo? Yes and no. This structure that you're creating is not very common on spoken language. So when you're speaking Portuguese, that's not common. To say it, eu vou fazê-lo. You could say it, eu vou fazer isso. I'm going to do it. Eu vou fazer isso would be more common in Portuguese. Charles, then eu vou fazê-lo. The correct way will be without the R. So for those of you that are kind of lost, you don't see the question, but Charles has a very interesting question. Eu vou fazê-lo would be the correct way, but it's more common to say it, eu vou fazer isso. Sounds good? Great. Nós. Nós vamos. Probably you have seen this before. This is not new to you. Or maybe it is. And then, again, as I said, we don't need to conjugate the verbs. So it will be exactly the same. Nós vamos amar o Brasil. Nós vamos comer feijoada amanhã. Nós vamos assistir uma nova série. Nós vamos assistir um filme. Right? So the only thing that you need to remember here is vou, vai, vamos. Because the verb will be infinitive. So you don't have to worry about the second verb. You only need to conjugate the first one. And the last thing, and I know that if you are American, this is very hard to pronounce. Vão. So, vocês vão, eles vão, elas vão, and then the verbs exactly the same. Amar, comer, assistir. We need more space. We need more space. We need more space. Okay. Right? And you guys on Instagram cannot see it. Let me just change a little bit. You guys on Instagram cannot see it, everything. Okay, now it should be better. Also for you guys on Instagram, it's easier to see it now. So here what we have, I will, and I'm going to love, eat, and watch using all the pronouns that we have. Hey Sunshine, hey Steven, what's up? Okay, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of Brazilian Portuguese pronunciation of my name. Yeah, maybe you need to be in Brazil a little bit more, and I don't know, you're going to start loving because Charles doesn't sound weird in English. Charles. Yeah, and this name is very hard to pronounce in English as well for us. So we would say Charles. That's easier. Okay, okay. And now would. Um pouco mais. Okay, let me put a little bit more. Okay, now you guys should be able to see it on Instagram. Right? Okay, okay, okay. So let's move forward because let's see would now. And to use would is also not that hard. Actually, I think the conjugation is easier. So let me grab all the verbs and paste them right here. So I have amar, comer, assistir. Right? How can I use I would love, I would eat, I would watch? It's something very, very, very easy. It is. I promise you. You just need to add IA at the end. IA and IA. Just this. Just be careful with the pronunciation, guys. The pronunciation here is very important. So how would you pronounce this? Amaria, comeria, and assistiria. Right? This is the right pronunciation. That's it. Queria. Crayon candy. That's how you can use would. Eu queria, eu pensaria, eu seria, eu estaria, eu compraria. All the verbs, just add IA at the end in the first conjugation. And also in the second. So as I said, this will not be hard to understand. And I think you guys on Instagram will not be able to see this part here. So let me see what I can do. Let me do a zoom out just a little bit so you guys will be able to see it. Aha. Now you guys should be able to see. Let me put, oh no. I'm just trying to find the best size. Maybe now you guys can see it. If you guys are on Instagram, I'm trying to place everything where you guys can see it on Instagram and also on YouTube. Okay, okay. We have one question on Instagram. Isn't queria past tense as well? It is. And would could be about the past. You guys are going to see this today because in English is the same, guys. You can also use would to talk about things in the past. Depend on the structure that you create, but it will be very hard for you guys here on Instagram to see everything. So let's focus on would. If you guys can see would, that's fine. Will, you guys have seen, right? So, nós. What about nós? Let me paste the verbs. Instead of amaria, comeria, assistiria, any guesses? We would eat. How would say that? We would eat. We are going to eat. We're going to eat pizza later. We are eating pizza. We will eat pizza this weekend. How would say that in Portuguese? I'm seeing your comments on YouTube, Instagram. What do you think? How would say that? This is a great reminder. So this is a great review, actually. This is the proper verb. This is a great review if you have studied this before and you're kind of a little bit confused. This class is for you. So, nós comemos, this is present. Tiffany, this that you're using, this is present. We want to use would here. We would eat. So let me help you. Nós amaríamos. Comeremos. Haha. Jess James, that's will. We're going to eat. We will eat. That's comeremos. Comeríamos. If you take a look in the pronunciation, comeremos, comeríamos. It's very, very similar. Assistiríamos. So here we have amaríamos. Comeríamos. Íamos. And assistiríamos. Right? So just try to not confuse this with the other future. I didn't add here the other conjugation to will and go to, but this is what you're going to do in a second just to compare pronunciation. When you're comparing pronunciation, you're going to see that. But this is what you need to remember so far. Amaria, amaria, amaríamos. And the last one, let me put this a little bit to the right side so you guys on Instagram can see it. And the last one, Hannah is asking, how is this different to eu gostaria de comer? That's a great question. When you say it, guys, any of you here, if you say it, for example, if you create a sentence, eu gostaria de comer. This gostaria, you're saying that you would like to eat. So I would like to eat, I would eat. Do you agree that it's not the same meaning? So it's exactly the same tense, but when you say eu gostaria, I would like. I would like to travel, I would like to buy a new car, I would like to hire an assistant, I would like to, I don't know, sleep more. I would like, eu gostaria. I would like to eat, eu gostaria de comer. Sounds good? This is what you're seeing here. Eu gostaria de comer, I would like to eat. So it is different. But it is exactly the same tense. And the last conjugation, você, eles, elas, amar. Let me give you the last one. Comer, assistir, riam. So, amariam, comeriam, and assistiriam. And usually on this conjugation, guys, right here, the challenge is the pronunciation. Amariam, comeriam, and assistiriam. Ok? Amariam, comeriam, assistiriam. Eles assistiriam o filme, mas eles não têm tempo. Eles comeriam. Let me move things a little bit. I'm always thinking about you guys on Instagram, so just moving things a little bit so you guys can also see it. Eles comeriam pizza hoje, mas eles preferem comer chocolate. So here we have will and going to and would. So far so good. Let's see if you guys understood, because take a look 1 second more on this screen and then Instead of eat, let's use here travel. I want your answers in the chat. How to say I would travel and I will travel, or I'm going to travel. How to say that? How are you going to say that in Portuguese? I would travel first. How to say it? I would travel. I would travel. How would say this in Portuguese? You just have seen. Let's see if you remember. I would travel. I would travel. I would travel. Any guesses? Let's see it. Eu, right? I need to make this bigger. Eu travel. Eu vou viajar. Interesting. Any other question? Guys, I know that you guys are hearing me on Instagram. Eu viajaria. That's it, just James. You were the first one to say the correct answer. Eu via. Wait, viajaria. That's it. Viajaria. So we have ia at the end, right? Here we're using would. Eu viajaria. Like here, would, ia in the first conjugation, right? Amaria, comeria, assistiria, viajar, viajaria. This that you said, Charles, sorry about the pronunciation again. Uh, I will travel. That will be the answer. Eu vou viajar. Eu vou viajar. And what you need to remember, vou, it's will. I'm going to. Eu vou viajar. And now, guys, it's time. Reflexing phalange, eu gostaria viaje. Almost that, Tiffany. Eu viajaria. Hey, Steven, that's right. That's right, Tiffany. Eu viajaria. That's good. So, guys, I need to tell you something now. And this is what I always tell my students. You don't need to learn this conjugation, but you need to understand. So you don't need to use it. This one, viajarei. This that I'm writing right here, eu viajarei. Você viajará. Nós viajaremos. E eles viajarão. This, rei, ra, remos, and rão, you don't need to use, but you need to understand. Let me put this a little bit down. So, eu viajarei, this that you're seeing is exactly the same as vou viajar. Is exactly the same. Viajará, vai viajar. Viajaremos, vamos viajar. And viajarão, vão viajar. This is exactly the same in Portuguese. And what is the recommendation? What advice do I have to tell you? I would use the first one. Actually, the second one. Viajar. Eu vou viajar. Eu vou viajar. This is what I would use when you're speaking Portuguese, when you're talking with a friend. Eu vou viajar, você vai viajar. However, you need to understand when someone uses this. Viajarei, viajaremos, viajarão. You need to understand when people are using these conjugations, right? So, this is a reminder to you. You learn this on the right side, and the other one just need to understand. Are we clear? You don't need to understand both. Actually, you need to understand both. You don't need to use both. But it's easier to use this, and this one, you just understand. And let me compare something now, guys, that could sound crazy. What is the difference between? You guys will see it in a second. Just give me one moment. Here is a pronunciation issue that I see all the time. So let's focus only on this. Only on this. What is the difference here? The pronunciation. How would you pronounce in your home out loud? How would you pronounce this? Viajarei. What is this? The first one, viajarei, is will. I will travel. I'm going to travel. And viajaria is I would travel, right? So you need also to understand this difference the pronunciation. Rei, ria. Eu viajarei, eu viajaria. Sounds good? This is basically all that you need to know about will and would, right? Let me take a look at your questions in the on YouTube. And viajasse would be after, I cannot see what is the, you're saying viajasse. And if, if, that's it, Andrej. If we're using if, we are starting subjunctive. So when I say se eu viajasse, if I traveled, if I had, if I ate, if I were in Brazil, I would buy a new car. If I were rich, I would work less, right? And this, with this in mind, everything that we have seen, let me stop just for 1 second. If everything so far made sense to you, everything is clear, just leave 10 in the chat. Just type 10 in the chat and I'll know that you understood so far. Just leave 10 in the chat and I know that you guys are with me so far. Because I'm going to give you two structures to you to practice this. So you can create one sentence, two sentences, three sentences to practice these two conjugations. What we have seen. We have seen that we have will and would, and then we have compared the two ways that you have to use will in Portuguese. I could say it viajarei and vou viajar. And the last thing that we have seen was the pronunciation between would travel and will travel. So cross 10, just change 10. Okay. Could this be applied to should and could? Yes, it could. You could apply this to should and could. I could have, I should have. Yes. I can do another live here on YouTube saying exactly this sentence: should have, could have, would have. I should have. Eu deveria ter. I could have. Eu poderia ter. I would have. Eu teria. Eu teria. I've been living in Brazil for a year, learning by speaking. Still many grammar difficulties. Love this stream. Thank you. Thank you, Andrej. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Hannah. That's great. Great to hear. Okay, let me give you two structures to you. And this is advanced. So if you are a beginner, I'm sorry about that, but I'm kidding. You're going to learn two structures. The first one is easy. When I have time, I will travel. This is the first sentence that you see. How would you say this in Portuguese? When I have time, I will travel. Take a look. The second part of the structure we have seen today. I will travel. But I'm not sure if you know the first part of the sentence. When I have time, I will travel. I'm waiting. Let's see. On comments here, on YouTube, Twitter, not Twitter, Instagram. When I have time, I will travel. Okay, okay. So let me help you. When I have time, uh-huh. Jesse James, I can tell that you are advanced in Portuguese because when I have time, this is future of subjunctive. And probably this is one of the last tenses that you study in Portuguese. And that's the correct answer. Quando eu tiver tempo, eu vou viajar. That's it. So don't worry about the first part right now. If you haven't seen this before, tiver, what is that? Is this new to you? Have seen this before? Tiver. This is future of subjunctive. This is advanced. But the second part, you should be happy. Eu vou viajar. I will travel. You already know. You can create right now. So if you're not like Jess James that can create this kind of sentence, don't worry. It takes a little bit of time to get there. This should be the last tense that you will study in Portuguese most of the time. If you want to create an easier sentence using will, you could say it. I have time this week. I will. Ha ha ha. I will. What I will? I will watch a new movie. A movie. I watch a movie. How would say that in Portuguese? This one is not only for advanced. So even if you start studying Portuguese for a few weeks, you kind of have an idea of how to say that in Portuguese. I have time this week. I will watch a movie. This may sound weird, but I have time this week, so I will watch a movie. We could add so here. How would say that in Portuguese? Ha 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 ha. Let me help you. I have, tenho, tempo. Eu tenho tempo. I have time. Esta semana. Então, so, eu will watch a movie. Vou assistir um filme. Let me just put this a little bit smaller so you guys can see it. Eu tenho tempo esta semana, então eu vou assistir um filme. I will watch a movie. This is what you have learned today. We have seen how to use this. Eu vou assistir um filme. You should be able to create a sentence like this one after this class. I have time this week, so I will watch a movie. Sounds good? And the last, don't worry, this is the last thing that you're going to see today. This session is taken longer than expected, but thank you so much for watching. The last thing is would. So here we're basically using will, right? Here we're using will. This is what we are using here. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, that's good enough. So here, will, two sentences. What about would? Let's forget a little bit about will and let's create one about would, using would. Eu vou tocar a seleção e assistir mais tarde. Obrigado pela aula, senhor. De nada, Charles. So thank you so much for watching. Now, would. Let me copy this and paste here. This will help us. But instead of will, let's use would. And instead of I have time, I would travel, let's use it. I would travel, but I don't have time. I would travel, but I don't have time. How would say this in Portuguese? And then I would Drink caipirinha if I were in Brazil. So the second one, a little bit more advanced. Let's see if you know the first or the second one. Obrigado, Jess James. Thank you. Thank you for watching. So, how to say that, guys? I would travel, but I don't have time. Aha. So before we leave, Charles, how you guys can say it? I should eat something in Portuguese. This is not the topic of this class, but let me tell you. I should. How are you going to say that? I should. This would be eu deveria. And then you just add the verb. So eu deveria, I should. I should eat. Eu deveria comer. I should eat. Eu deveria comer. Aha, aha. Okay, going back to would. Let me put this a little bit down. Okay. I would. Oh, no. I would travel, but I don't have time. Viajarei, mas não tenho tempo. Viajarei, Charles, is I will. Would be eu viajaria. I would travel. Eu viajaria. For those guys on Instagram, sorry, now it's easier to see it. I would travel. Eu viajaria. Mas eu não tenho tempo. But I don't have time. I would travel, but I don't have time. Eu viajaria, mas eu não tenho tempo. So would travel, viajaria. So recommendation, guys, you need to review this class. Would travel. Okay. And the second one, I would drink. Eu beberia caipirinha. Caipirinha. So I would drink. Eu beberia. I would drink caipirinha. Eu beberia caipirinha if I were in Brazil. The second part is a little bit more complicated. If you haven't studied subjunctive yet, let's see the answers. Beberia uma caipirinha se estava no Brasil. Viajarias, mas eu não tenho tempo. That's it. Diane, viajaria, mas eu não tenho tempo. Se eu tivesse tempo, that's it. Se eu tivesse tempo, if I had time. But what about if I were in Brazil? Beberia uma caipirinha se estava no Brasil. Okay, let me help you. Not sure if you have seen this conjugation before, but if I were, se eu estivesse, estivesse, guys. So it was just missing es in the beginning. Estivesse no Brasil. That's it. That's how say it if I were in Brazil. Estivesse, that's it, cross Tina. So maybe Christina, that's your name, not sure. So we have one kind of basic sentence that you could use would, and then one that is a little bit more complicated, using would with subjunctive. If I were, if I had, both using would. Sounds good? And that's it, guys. If you want the PDF of this whiteboard that you're seeing right here, I know that it has a lot of things. If you want this PDF, you need to go right there to YouTube. So you're right here on YouTube. You just need to leave this as a comment here on this video. This live will be available on YouTube for 30 days. Then will disappear so you can review. But if you go right there and leave a comment saying, I want the secret. you need to leave this sentence there as a comment. I want the secret. I'm going to send you the PDF of this whiteboard that you're seeing. Sounds good? Let me go back to me here. And now maybe if you have any random question, we don't need this anymore at the top. And I'm just loving the result that I'm having here because it takes a lot of time to set a live like this one with different screens. And I just love to see the result when everything is working and you can change different screens. That's just great. And I have multiple screens here at the time, so I just love that. Okay, thank you, Andrej. If any of you want to book a lesson, let me just share the link here in the chat in case you guys want to book a lesson. Just go to this website that I'm going to put here in the chat. If you are on YouTube, you're going to see it. If you're not on YouTube, you're not going to see it. That. So please go to YouTube and you'll be able to see it. That. Uh, just use this link that I'm going to leave here in the chat. This is the link for the trial lesson. Fosse is also were, correct? But this would be if I were Brazilian, if I were American, I would something, right? But if I'm saying if I were in Brazil, se eu estivesse. I want the secret. We vamos. You need to leave that on YouTube to receive or send me here on Instagram. If you're here on Instagram, let me help you out. Send me a DM right now saying I want the secret with your email. I'm going to send you. Sounds good? And that's great. Let me just go back here. Everything's working. Thank you, Hannah. I want the secret. Oh, guys, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's it. I'm planning to do this maybe twice a week, this kind of lesson. It is a lesson. It's not just dancing. We study a little bit of grammar, but guys, it's very important to also speak Portuguese. So just don't watch things. You need to practice it. So as an exercise, I would recommend you to write 3 sentences and then read out loud and send a voice message to someone. I always ask this from my students. If you create a sentence, if you learn something, you need to speak. You need to use this speaking. So otherwise you'll be able to understand, read, but you're still not speaking Portuguese. And probably this is what you want. You don't want to write a book. You don't want to read a book. You want to speak. So you need to speak. Um, I think I did something wrong. Paid through Stripe, but it didn't open on your website. I want the secret. Android, if you have any issues, just send a message. Let me send a support email right here. And I can get in touch with you to set up the time for this class. Just give me 1 second. And I'll send this to you. What else, guys? Any question? It looks like everyone wants the secret. I'm going to send you guys in a second. Don't worry about that. Okay, so let me copy this email. Just send a message to support@portugueseclasses.com.br and as soon as possible, I'm going to answer you, Andrej. If you have any issues or if you are not able to book the class, just send me an email and you'll be able to help you out in this process. Okay, okay. And I think that's it, guys. It was a pleasure to help you out. And thank you so much for giving me 45 minutes of your time this Wednesday. I know, in my mind, I would do this session in 10, 15 minutes, but I'm happy that we were here for almost 1 hour learning grammar. And then now you need to apply this. So please, please, today I challenge you to send a voice message to someone that you know in Portuguese using one of this. I'm going to do something or I will do something, but for some reason I cannot do that. Okay? So thank you so much. Take care. It's Wednesday, so it's almost Friday. Drink water. We can make it. Don't worry. Everything going to work out. Thank you. Take care. Hope to see you soon.